I'm going to speak about music, and that will be not only mine personal experience about using music as a tool in cultural diplomacy, but also with some examples from other, some of them very important politicians. So being professionally lawyers and musician, I entered the politics, and I always wonder, who am I? Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde? Because in principle, arts and politics are enemies. But I tried to join those roles and decided to use during my mandate music as an important tool for Croatian diplomacy. It was a very important period because we were finishing our negotiations with the European Union. And you will see later, highlight of my political career was signing accession treaty together with then Prime Minister Mrs. Kossar. But in history, some rulers were also musicians. King David, Frederick the Great, Henry VIII. He was definitely more famous for killing his wife than playing music. But he was a really good musician, history tells. Look at it, what Frederick the Great did. Yeah, he was flutist, and he composed beautiful music, rococo music. Of course, all his people must enjoy this music. He was the king, very powerful king. But he composed 100 sonatas, concertos, symphonies, whatever, and he was really very famous, very good musician. In modern history, relatively modern history, we had Ignatian Panderewski. He was prime minister, very short period. He was in Poland, Prime Minister of Poland, and he participated at Paris Peace Conference after the Second World War, and he was very, very influential in the period when Polish state was re-established. So he composed in style, let's say, light Chopin, but he was, I have to say, better pianist than a composer, but very significant composer. Just he's playing his music. Okay. The other musician and politician was Mr. Landsbergis. He was chairman of Supreme Council of Lithuania. He was not a real musician, he was musicologist, and we musicians consider them as enemies, natural enemies, because they are writing critics about us. But he was a very distinguished person, and for 2 years he was de facto head of the state. And then something very interesting. One of the most powerful men in the world then, Mr. Clinton. But look at this. For all those people who don't But the other superpower had also someone who wanted to show how good musician he is. But the performers were not so good. now he plays very, very ugly music in politics. Blueberry Hills. Professionals come in. Polish. But of course, ambition of politicians to be musicians comes finally to jokes.
Skibbity wap pa pa, skibbity wap pa 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 pa, skibbity wap pa 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 pa, skibbity pa pa.
A bushy, bushy blonde hairdo, serving USA.
I remember when rock was young, me and Susie had so much fun.
Tu me fais tourner la tête, mon manège à moi c'est toi. Je suis toujours à la fête.
No tengo dinero, no, no tengo dinero, no, 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 no.
Bamboleo, bambolea, porque mi vida yo la prefiero vivir así.
I want to be a part of it. New York, New York.
Nach 1, 2, Polizei, 3, 4, Grenadier, 5, 6, alte Gigs, Stille Nacht.
Jambo, jambo guano, americano, nzuri sana, wageni wakaribishwa, Kenya yetu hakuna matata.
Tu voliva pizza, 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 capumarola in coppa, capumarola in coppa.
Yo no soy marinero, yo no soy marinero, soy capitán, soy capitán, soy capitán.
Okay, but unfortunately music was misused. We can easily recall what Hitler did before and during the Second World War, misusing beautiful
the
music.
The Nazi Revolution is a fact.
He tried to send the message of strongness, message of future vision of big and strong Germany. Look at him.
Jugend der Zukunft wünschen ist etwas anderes, als was die Vergangenheit sich gewünscht hat. Wir müssen einen neuen Menschen erziehen. Was es uns gelungen, dem deutschen Volk eine neue Idee zu geben und dieses Volk in diese Idee zu einen.
Unfortunately, even today, some are trying to send not very nice messages by music. North Korea. celebrating war, celebrating weapons, and aggression. Okay, but definitely professionals were also involved in cultural music diplomacy. Especially there were very interesting attempts to merge Palestinians and Israeli people. One of very nice experiments was the very specific performance of Mozart, Magic Flute. It's combination of European style, Mozart style, and Oriental style. Yeah. One very beautiful soprano is singing. Mira Selim, obviously. Arabic. You will easily recognize combination of Arabic and European style. Instruments. European. The second very important attempt was done by very famous conductor Daniel Barenboim. And he organized so-called Divan Orchestra, composed by Arabic young musician and Israeli young musician making tour. And it's very nice and interesting discussion about the reason of this orchestra and why, how to, it's not easy to, no, it's the same. That too near. Okay, I cannot catch it. It's too near. But what is the essence? Young Arabic musician and young Jewish musician are together playing music, but also discussing problems, political problems, trying to find common language. And this project was lasting for 7 years, I think, and the results are very, very beautiful. They've had beautiful tours, and the message to the audience from both communities, Arabic and Jewish, was really, really important. Mm-hmm. Oh, ho, 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 ho. You know, this technique is always okay. Yes, and then one of very interesting campaign was American Chinese campaign, mostly called ping pong diplomacy. But also music was included. Very famous American composer, John Adams, composed opera Nixon in China. Just to see how it looks like. John Adams writes music mostly called minimalism, and he's very famous composer. He earned enormous amounts of money, and he wrote several operas, very successful. This one was the most successful, in my opinion. And now, Croatian case. I was very involved as a musician, as someone who studied at Music Academy. I was also teaching at Music Academy. I decided to use music. So what was the important moment in our history? We had war. You can see I will not read everything. From the beginning of our statehood, we had several very important diplomatic activities focused to recognition of the state, to membership to Council of Europe, then to European Union, NATO, and I was involved especially in the part that was devoted to our membership to European Union. So our negotiations were not easy. We had many important reforms to do. We had some tales from the past, from the Balkan War, from aggression towards Croatia. We were burdened by partly non-cooperation with the Hague Tribunal. And of course, we were also pressured by need to organize excellent or better, much better relation inside the country, especially towards our national minorities, namely Serbian minority, and we have finally a very, very good, very liberal constitutional act on rights of national minorities. So, aside all reforms, we had 35 chapters to resolve in negotiations with the European Union. We had also some other goals, especially devoted to cultural diplomacy. Firstly, we want to introduce Croatia to other countries as a country that is part of Western cultural circle. That was very important because, unfortunately, I have to say here, the West has prejudice towards Balkans. And we always denied, but we are part of the Balkans, and we had through cultural diplomacy to get rid of bad connotations, but that fact. So we wanted to say, yes, we are part of the West. Then we wanted to create positive attitude in member countries, especially before some of those countries had a referendum about our membership. And it was very important to convince them that we are someone who is going to contribute to European Union. That was the third goal. And of course, we wanted to promote EU to Croatian citizens. I'm very happy and very proud, we have a member of the parliament here, that today support of our citizens to the European Union is not less, even a little bit higher than at the very beginning of our membership. So we were promoting European Union in Croatia, of course, using culture, inviting artists from all European countries. So in that period from 2011 and 13, after we signed the accession agreement, there was more than 100 events every year, cultural events, many music, many exhibitions, books, theater, everything that supported our EU membership. Most attractive activities were big festival of Croatian culture in France, also big Croatian film festival in Paris, Croatian music festivities in Austria, concert of Croatian music in Poland. They organized, I was very surprised and very happy, composer president. This is the result, CD of music. And of course, Poland is a very powerful musical country. And we invited their musicians, especially our special guest was Maestro Penderecki, a very important composer, and he was in Croatia, he had concerts and so on. We also wanted to keep touch with our neighbors, because we wanted to show to European Union that we are capable to have normal relations, namely with Serbia. I'm very grateful to President Tadic. Together we did a really good job in reconciliation. So we had Belgrade Philharmonic in Dubrovnik. We have many activities in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Also, we have one Baroque festival in Varaždin, it's North City, and we had the most important guest, states as a guest. So they participated with their program in Varaždin. Then film festival in Austria, exhibition Split in Time of Marko Marulić in Macedonia here. And there was many concerts of Zagreb Philharmonic Orchestra, especially in Vienna and Budapest. As example of my activities, I will tell you about a very important event that took place firstly in Trieste, then in Ljubljana, and then finally in Pula. It was one of the most important political events, because in that time we had dispute with Italy about history. Probably not many people knows about the history. During the Second World War, there were many atrocities by Italian troops towards Croats and Slovenians, but after the Second War, it was different. It was revenge. So there was many Italians left Istria, and there was special agreement between Yugoslavia and Italy, so-called OSIM agreement. It regulates property of those people. Italy take obligation to pay for that property to their new citizens, and former Yugoslavia needed to pay some money, not very big money, to Italian state. But later, it was period 2010 when I entered the office. There was big dispute because so-called irredentism, that means ambitions of some Italian circles to capture Croatian part of territories, namely Istria, Split, Zadar, and the others, motivated some people to think that Italy will block our membership to European Union. But fortunately, in that time, President of Italy was President Napolitano. He was part of resistance during the Second World War, and he understood the problem. We organized meetings, many meetings, but also concerts. It was a concert in Trieste, in Ljubljana, and especially in Pula. There was a meeting of Croatian members of resistance from the Second World War, and also representatives of Ezuli. That's Italians that left Istria, Croatia, and Slovenia after the Second World War. It was really reconciliation, and we had beautiful concert in arena. It was 8,000 people listening Italian operas, Croatian opera. It was transmitted to Croatian and Italian radio and TV, and we read President Napolitano and me Declaration of Friendship. So it was a very successful example of music diplomacy. That was the highlight of my political career. Mrs. Kosor and myself, we signed agreement in Brussels, and it was in 2011, and our formal accession was in 2013 on 1st of July. We had 2 years to ratify, not only in Croatia but in other countries, that agreement, and it was very successful. We had some disputes with Slovenians about the border, but I will not enter details. I think it's not a problem anymore. So we had a big celebration on the main square from 30 to 1st July 2013. Big square, national anthem, big program. And so music was definitely a message for everyone in European Union that we are really new European country. We have beautiful anthem. But we should not stood up, so I will discontinue it. But what's very interesting, many foreign televisions reported about that like this.
How would you celebrate joining the EU? Throw a couple of street parties, change the currency, or maybe just get your president to play piano? Well, that's how they party in Croatia. Croatian President Ivo Josipović was so happy the country will become a member of the Eurozone that he played Beethoven's Ode to Joy on piano. Croatia officially joins the EU on July the 1st.
And at the very end, I use music as a tool externally, but also internally, with message of reconciliation and justice. So I will show you, for the end, the spot I did with most distinguished musicians from Croatia. Some of you will recognize them.
Gdje je nestao čovjek?
Where the man disappeared.
Gdje se skrivao? Iz vagona godina na tračnice ispao.
Gleda gdje su znakovi, kojim putem krenuti.
Može li tko reći gdje je put ka sreći?
The way to happiness.
Svi odgovori doći će sami, samo stoji na svjetlu i doći će kraj tami.
I doće kraj tami, ljudi! I kada sunca nema i misliš da je kraj, da možeš sve promijeniti, možeš biti taj. Zato odluči da nas i samo to znaj. I zato digni glas za pravdu, samo daj.
Kakva je to istina, kad s druge strane je laž?
We are fighting for the truth.
Izvrnute vrijednosti, strah, samo strah.
Neostvareni snovi, radiš ono što ne voliš, ali mogu ti reći gdje je put ka sreći.
Samo živi, samo budi, svi odgovori doći će sami. Digni glas za pravdu i doći će
I was 10 years younger then.
Kako dugo će postojati, kako dugo će nestajati, želje, potrebe, osjećaji, koji koče i pokreću.
Kako dugo će postojati, a kako dugo će nestajati.
Želje, potrebe, osjećaj koji hoće i pokreću.
Tebe, mene, svo to
Folk instruments as well.
srca tvrda ko kamenje. A da mogu ti reći, pokazat put ka sreći.
samo živi, samo budi, svi odgovori doći će sami. Digni glas za pravdu i doći će kraj tami.
Thank you very much. music is very important and a strong tool. Thank you.
So, Mr. Panel Leader, if you allow me.
Sure.
I think this was the best final of, yes, of our panel. We have to thank Ivo Josipović for everything. Thank you very much. And I think you can announce the coffee break just now.
Of course. I would like to end on a high note. So thank you, President Josipović, President Tadić, President Ivanić, President Stoyanov, President Topi. And we hope to see you soon with even better presentation, President Josipović, about the cultural diplomacy, especially the musical diplomacy regarding Croatia and its European integration. Thank you very much. And I would like to invite you all for the coffee break now. Thank you.